let's talk about you, Mateo. So a day in the life of Mateo, like you're living your day to day right now. You are still partying. You are still, because you, in my opinion, if I could sum up the system you have right now for women, it's definitely like a high level social circle.
Yeah. Yeah. So
your day to day, like what's your agenda? What are you looking for? Like, what are you doing? You wake up, you're like, I want to fuck some hoes, I want to make some money, I want to do business stuff. Like, what is it that's just, how do you flow and how do you live your life?
on the weekdays, I'm just about health and business basically. And on the weekends, I'm all about the high level events basically. So I organize a series of events that usually costs about $200 to enter for guys, and the ratio is usually about like 3 girls to 1 guy for the most part.
Is this the Sapphire list?
Yeah. So that kind of event, as well as at the club, bring girls to the club basically, and that's not even for me even just to harvest, right? Necessarily. Like, I went for a long time. First, I found out how to feed myself, right? I learned how to like go out in the world, talk to a girl, not come across as weird or creepy or whatever, right? Lead her somewhere that day, lead her home, right? Lead her to get a drink, lead her home, and sleep with her, right? And then once I was good with feeding myself, I did that for many, many years, had a great time, reached all crazy levels of success with it, all sorts of girls, had girls, driving me around in crazy convertibles and models and porn stars, every type of girl you can imagine, right?
I met that one porn star. She was fucking gorgeous. She had a nice personality too.
Yeah, she's great. And then from there, I was like, Corona basically hit, and I was in Osaka at the time. My buddy over here in Tokyo was like, yo, I had this property where basically, it was an Airbnb and now it's empty. So you guys want to come live in it and have a good time? And I was like, fuck yeah, all right, let's do it. So me and another guy who's like really high level gamer as well, we lived there. We were basically just going out, talking to girls in the street, pulling them home, having big groups of like 5, 6, 10 girls over every night, even like on, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, whatever. And that was just our lifestyle, right? So we were, at that point, I started getting into more, not just feeding myself, but feeding my friends. So then I would start approaching some girl. I'd approach a girl on the street, right? And I'd be like,
I remember the video.
This would be, this kind of like, this girl's hot, of course, right? She's like a 7 or 8, whatever, right? I would happily sleep with her, but I think this friend of mine would actually be a really good fit for her because maybe, she likes XYZ. Maybe she's a gamer, and my friend here, he's a gamer. So then I would like introduce them, right? And so I got into this mode where I was like, and it was reciprocal too, right? Because obviously if you do something, if you give somebody like, $100 and then $100 again and then $100 again, pretty soon you're going to get tired of it. But if it's coming back and forth, right? And then if there's value going back and forth, and that's what's important, right? So this is what we started to create, an ecosystem, which is all these kinds of all the guys around us were all gaming, all going out, all gaming, all talking to girls on the street, meeting them, smashing them, pulling over, had like orgies, everything you can imagine, and then passing them to our friends, right? And if there was a girl who in particular, so if it's like, oh, this girl's kind of shy, like she seems like really like kind of quiet, nurturing type, be like, oh, yo, let me introduce you to MLD or something like that, right? So it'd be like that kind of like everybody scratches everybody's back situation, right? And when a bunch of guys who have skill and value work together for something, it can reach crazy heights. So we were having crazy parties. You came to a couple of them as well, and it was insane. Like the lifestyle we were living. We had a pole in the basement, like a stripper pole in the basement. We had a jacuzzi. It was insane. So that was kind of reaching the next level. So feeding myself to feeding other people around me to just like having a big fucking bucket of
like a sexual.
Fish or
it was,
whatever.
dude. I like when I first met you, I had him saved in my phone as Mateo Whorehouse because I just every time Like the guys were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Head to the whorehouse," because it was just like you're like. I want you to elaborate more on this because it was beautiful when you explained it to me. You really opened my eyes a lot last year when I met you, and that's why I chose to do the dark past with you. When you had like this non-judgmental kind of open sexual air about this house, and it was a big, beautiful house in like the heart of Tokyo, centralized location. I mean, you were having like, dude, they were like at one point. I think one of the things I said was like 10 or 15 girls in there, like all having sex and like just this giant orgy, like this judgment-free orgy. And like the guys there were not like giga chads, not like super rich. These are like dudes making $60,000, $50,000, $40,000 a year, not 6 foot tall. How did you cultivate that? And I want you to explain, because you explained it beautifully to me, but like the mindset and the frame that you framed it for the girls.
Right. Yeah. Well, so the foundation is like, you have to be able to feed yourself, right?
You gotta have game.
Yeah, you do have to have game, and we did have immersions there where we would bring up guys who were, we would help bring them up, bring their game level up to the point where they were able to contribute and participate and everything. But you do have to be able to feed yourself first, right? But then like the magic is when you step into this house, it's like everybody's frames are all working in the same way, right?
Kind of aligned.
Right, aligned, right? So it's like it's the same thing when girls go on vacation or something. They go to Bali and they just like fuck some guys, right? Because they're like, I'm in vacation mode, right? So we basically made vacation mode, but inside of the city that already exists. And so they step into the house. They're like, they quickly realize, because girls are insanely aware, right? They're insanely socially aware. So they quickly realize, they're like, hey, these people don't seem judgmental, and hey, they're all pretty cool to talk to, and yeah, I mean, I guess I could sleep with one of them, or two, or three, or something, right?
So they're curious at least.
Yeah, they're curious, right? And you get these girls who had even girls who came in with a low body count, and they would go out with them with a much higher body count, right? So because they'd never encountered that kind of situation before, right? It's like a vortex or something, like stepping into some weird trippy mirror, like the down under, or like some
the mirror dimension.
yeah
because you made it was so crazy, because when I was dating Miss MLD, actually one of her friends that she went to high school with was in the house.
Oh, really?
She came up to me at a party. She's like, "Are you Jonathan?" I was like, "Who the fuck is this bitch?" And then she blew up my spot.
Yeah.
But it was crazy just to see the medley of girls that were coming there. And it's funny because women will always, women are like water. Okay, they will fit your frame. I think we have a perfect example here. Like if this glass thing is your frame, a woman will fit to your frame, and it doesn't matter what it is. But your frame has to be solid, and it has to be owned by a strong man that she can feel safe in. Because if he doesn't feel safe, I mean, she's not going to get in. Women, especially Japanese women, I think I say they're more like cats. You have to be smooth. You got to seduce them in it, show them everything's good. If you move too fast, you do something crazy, the cat's running away, and it's never coming back. And I think Japanese girls are kind of the same. But once you cultivate an air of non-judgmentalness and fun, because that's all girls want to do is have fun and not be judged. Who wants to be judged, really? You can have, quite the goddamn wild time. That's the thing about you, is like you really live this life. Like you have to be in it 24/7 like you are to make it happen. It's an investment in your time, and it can be stressful because these bitches are crazy. But the upsides are just like you literally have like rock star levels of sexual success.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the crazy thing as well is like girls will conspire with each other, right? Like to have a good time. Like two friends will come, right? And then they will both smash some guy, or maybe multiple guys or whatever, right? And then like they'll go home and they'll just be like, well, that was our little secret, right? That's never getting told to anybody else we know ever. And you can see that like they have like the whiteboard of their lay count, and they just like erase what just happened off of it. And they're just like, this will not be recorded in history, but they're very aware. They're very aware, and they do want to have a good time, right?